Alright, so we know that if you start with the equation, then you just factor it using our factoring rules. You set it equal to 0 to get the solutions, and then you graph. Okay, but what if you start with the solutions? What if it tells you 2 and 1 are the solutions? Okay, well the graph's pretty easy, because that just means I go to 2 and I go to 1 and I put points and then I graph it. Make sense? But how do we factor it? If I know that the solutions, or the zeros, are 2 and 1, how do I figure out what goes under the factors? Then you would just change the sign. So you would get x minus 2, x minus 1. Before I go to the equation part, what if it were -1 and 3?
1 and negative 3.
So x plus 1 and x minus 3. Let's do one more. -3 and -5.
3, 5.
3, 5 is not the answer. How would you write that?
Plus 3,
X plus 3, x plus 5. Does that make sense? Okay, so then how do we get the equation? So if I have the graph, I have the solutions, I have the factor, how do I go back inwards and get the equation? You multiply. Think about the arrows. X times x. X times -1. -2 times x. -2 times 1. -1x, -2x, positive 2, which is x squared, minus 3x plus 2. Does that make sense? Okay, let's multiply out the next one. X plus 1 and x minus 3. That would be x squared minus 3x plus 1x minus 3. And you can do that in the box if you want, or you can do it the arrow way. There's so many ways you guys are doing it, I don't know which way is easier. So that one gives you x squared minus 2x minus 3. There's one more that's kind of tricky, okay? If I tell you that the solution is x equals 1/3 and x equals 1, let's talk about how you get the factors of that. When it's a fraction, there's something a little different, okay? With x equals 1, that would be x minus 1, right? Okay, with x equals 1/3, it's x minus 1/3. Okay, but if you look back at our answers, none of our answers really looked like that about factors. So what you have to do is you multiply by 3. Whatever the bottom is, you multiply by that number. So if I multiply x by 3, I get 3x. If I multiply 1/3 by 3, I get 1. This is the real answer. Basically what ends up happening is the 3 just moves in front of the x. Let's say you have x equals -2/3 and x equals -4. Well, let's change it first. So x minus 4 would be x plus 4, right? And then x equals -2/3 would be x plus 2/3, but then change it.
3x plus 2.
3x plus 2, and then x plus 4.